Hey, what's up, Reefers? It had been a really rough 6 days for me. I had just been sick and just sleeping nonstop. But I'm back, and I just want to do a quick update for you guys. And today we're going to talk about the 45-gallon cube tank that I got going on here. So for the past 6 days, I pretty much just did top off water. I didn't really stick my hands in except for once where I felt like I have to feed the fathead dendro. So why don't we take a look at the fathead dendro first. Some of you guys asked me on Instagram how the fathead is doing, and dude, it is looking fantastic. I actually just fed it about an hour or so ago. I actually got the LPS food, and they loved it. I really need to film how they look when I feed them one of these days. And these are by far one of my favorite corals now in this tank. And they're just really rewarding because they're always out, always waiting for you to feed them food. And they let you know immediately whether they like the food or not. And you feel immediately gratified because you see them gulping it down. They feed and they are hungry. And it's just nothing more rewarding than seeing them eat. And they got a huge mouth. And I have to show you next time when I feed these guys. And yeah. So they are absolutely one of my favorite corals in the tank right now. The fathead dendro. And swinging next to it, we have the Manipora capricornis that's forever growing. And now all the edges are kind of rolling upwards towards the light and pedaling off, which is great. I mean, I love this look, and it shows that it's growing nicely. The edges are white, and you'll see like random white spot in the middle of the colony, and that is one of the pain of having a mixed reef. Those white spot came from the frog spawn, and you may be wondering, how did the frog spawn stung the Manipora caps when they're so far apart? Well, my clowns like to play in the frog spawn, and my blue tang likes to sleep among frog spawn. So as they squeeze past it, sometimes they kind of like rip off a tentacle or two. And these detached tentacles tend to kind of like travel around the tank, and they sometimes land on the Manipora capricornis. Even when there's water flow directly across the surface, sometimes they just land there and get wedged there for a while. And that's when they'll burn a little patch off the skin. Now these usually recover after a few days, but I'm sure about it is coral, and there's not too much I can do about it at this moment. Now right behind the Manipora cap, I have that unidentified green SPS, and the back tip there is slightly white. That used to be completely white maybe 2 weeks ago due to probably a elk swing. But now, thankfully, it has regrown and regained color, so that's a great thing. And sliding up here, green star polyps, looking pretty good. Seems to actually have colored up ever since I first got this. And coming up a little bit, the Gorgonian, that's really happy. And I noticed that the right side is definitely growing a lot faster than the left side. And the difference is that the right side is right in direct flow of the gyri, now that it grown that far, as well as the return pump. So I think that plays a huge part. Water flow plays a huge part on at least this Gorgonian colony. And I've been snipping it off for people visiting my house too. I'm just like, oh, you want to try Gorgonian? All right, here you go. Here's a piece. All right, well, let's slide on over here to the back. Kryptonite, candy cane, completely recovered from the being stung, and it just kind of is doing its own thing. It's not really growing, but it's kind of filling out nicely. And to the left, I have that blue Tubbs Blue Zoa still ready for you, Tom, whenever you want to meet up. And then we'll swing up here. We have the two Zoa I kind of transplanted onto the rock, hoping that they'll spread. And they seem to like the spot. And hopefully, as they adapt to the location, they'll start spreading out. And let's come up front first. And let me get the camera in focus. Zoas up front are all doing well. The red Zoa is still closed from time to time for no apparent reason. I cannot really find any pests on it, so I continue to keep an eye out on it. But there's a little trouble in the back. You see the Sunny D is doing especially well. It's loving the spot and spreading. And it is now covering I think it's called Sundancer. I never quite found the name. It's the smaller gold Zoa that's to the left of the Sunny D. So the Sunny D is actually covering some of those Sundancers. I actually really like those Sundancer Zoas. So I'm gonna probably, I remember it came from a frag. It's not plug, it's more like a little rock. So I think it came from that. So I can probably break that off and transplant that somewhere else. But yeah, the Zoa's doing well. I'm actually not too sure what the red one is. It's slightly annoying, the fact that it opens sometimes and closes sometimes. It's not always open like all the other Zoas around it. Alright, swing over here. The Tubbs Blue main colony is doing well. Over here, I'm not sure what kind of Zoa this is. I think it's called Devil's Armor, if I remember right. I'm not positive. If you guys know, let me know. But that's doing well and slowly spreading a little bit, although it's being held in check on the right hand side by the Gold Hammer. Same with the Sunny D's. Red Goniporus is not dying, but the tissue between the polyps are turning white, so maybe it is dying. I don't know. I tried feeding it. I even got the what's that, Reefer, the formula just specifically for Gonipora, but it's not really responding to it, so I'm not really holding my breath, but we'll see how it goes. This is actually the third location that I have this in. Gold Hammer continue to grow, expand, but at least it's not really sending out those huge sweeper now, so that's a good news. And it's looking healthy and good. Moving over here, the Redactus, the orange Redactus, doing okay, not bad, same old, and the green Manipora of sort is spreading, continuing to spread. And then we move on to the harder SPS that I tried, the turning color. This guy is it's turning brown, so I guess the light was not intense enough, at least compared to the tank that it came from. And then I noticed that it's starting to take on a green shade. Same thing with the SPS up there, although I noticed that the skin peeled. And it peeled like last week, so it's holding steady. I'm not even sure what caused it. It's kind of strange. But besides the skin peeling, it's actually doing decent. Bird's Nest, I really did not pay too much attention to it, to be honest. But polyps always out, so I guess that's a good sign. And back here, let's see. Oh, these guys are still busy. And I mean, I have not seen the other Yashagobi, so I think it's a goner. I'm guessing this is still the female, the bulletproof female that I got, simply because it did not have the black marking on the pectoral fins. And let me just double check. Yeah, the fin looks completely yellow, where the male has some black markings. And this is how you tell the male from females. But this only works on wild-caught specimens. Captive bred, for whatever reason, the male does not develop the black marking, at least from what I read. These are actually Captain America, and it's a shame because I shoved them in the back. I did not have room in front. I shoved them in the back, and they kind of lost color because it's in the back of the aquarium. Alright, well, let's move on up, and we'll see. The bubble tip anatomy actually bubbled up for the past couple weeks. I have no idea why, and I don't think anybody does yet. And it is now obvious that it hates the frog spawn and frog spawn hates it. Well, frog spawn doesn't care, but the bubble tip anatomy hates a frog spawn because you see the tentacle that's touching the frog spawn is obviously different from the other part of the anatomy. It's all kind of like stunned. But they kind of keep each other in check, so that's fine. Although one interesting thing is that I'm not sure if that's new or... Okay, alright, so I guess I have pretty thick skin, haha. Whenever I work in the tank, touching the rose bubble tip anatomy never bothered me until maybe like starting last month. Even on the back of my hand, whenever I brush my hand against the rose bubble tip anatomy, I actually felt it stinging me. It actually hurts. And then welts would appear and my hand would hurt if it went to touch salt water. And it would not go away for at least half an hour to an hour. This never happened before. So I wonder if my skin got a little bit more sensitive, or the anatomy got a little bit larger, or did it started developing more stinging cells because it's constantly fighting with the frog spawn. I don't know. But just a observation that at least my skin now react to the rose bulb banana sting. So I'm a little bit more careful when working around in the tank. Now the frog spawn, it's holding steady. The front portion, this portion actually shrunk a lot because it fell off, and I guess I was sick, I didn't really pay attention. And you actually see the Redactus there, this got damaged right there because the frog spawn was touching it when it's down there, and I did not lift it up right away. But eventually my goal was to move one piece of this to the drop-off tank and then kind of trim it down a little bit further, because right now there's still a bunch of stuff over there. And let's swing over here. Here, because I have no idea where to put it, we have the yellow Fiji leather. I'm not too sure how it's doing actually. Shape-wise is good, but the tentacle is never expanded or extended. I had it over there before, and it was like, yeah, it's okay. So I moved it over here, and it's okay. So I'm not sure what's going on. So you see the tentacle kind of like peeking out, but not really completely extended. So maybe it's not at its happy spot yet. The Go Torch is always happy. Even happier now that I feed the tank slightly more because of all these crazy frozen food and LPS food now, because I have to feed the Dendro. And of course we got the Elegance Coral, always doing well, happy and always expanding. Let me give you, swing it around. So yeah, I think I lucked out, got a really healthy piece of Elegance Coral from Dr. Mac of Pacific East Agricultural, or Agriculture. Now the challenge is just to, I gotta flip that snail. I'll rescue you, buddy. Wait. I thought he was going to flip himself. Oh, he almost got it. Okay, I'll flip him later. But yeah, the challenge of the Elegance Coral now is to finding a good placement for it, or do I want to just kind of sell that guy or trade him? Yeah. Alright, so those are just kind of like a general overview of the tank of the past, what, is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks since I've talked about the 45-gallon tank in depth. More things goes on in the sump, but it's not as exciting, and I'll just keep that to the future general overview because, man, this is getting a little bit long. So as we are going into the holiday season, I'm also thinking about what else I want to do to this 45-gallon tank. First and foremost, I have not forgotten. Every day well, I wouldn't say every day, but every time I look at the tank, I kind of evaluate the blue tank. It's like, okay, is it time to go yet? Is it time to go yet? Is it time to go yet? And I close, but not quite. It's pretty obvious that it still has a decent amount of swimming room, and again, I will not hesitate to move him out when I feel that he is running out of room, or it's like if the tank is cramping his style in any way. Because dang, I want to try a leopard rest. So that's number one. Number two is, what am I going to do with the Elegance Coral in the back? It's just kind of there. So I may do some rearranging this holiday weekend. I do have some more I do like a minimalist tank, but I do also have those bikini rocks sitting in the box, so I wonder if I can build something that would add more depth to the tank, as well as add more room for potential new corals. So we will see. But for now, this is just a quick tank update, and just to get my mouth working again, because I feel like I haven't talked in so long. Man, it's good to be back. Alright guys, well, I will cut this video right here. I'll talk to you guys next time.